She's Melania, and she said, "You know what you did to me with Stormy Daniels? Do you know what you've done to me with all your vulgar talk? Do you know what you've done to me to where you pay no attention to our child? Do you have any idea of what I think about you?" And then
Trump is throwing a tantrum the size of Texas. And what just came out about Melania could end everything. You won't believe what James Carville just exposed. He dropped a bombshell so wild, Trump is literally yelling at the walls like a rejected contestant from a bad reality show. Full meltdown. Is it a scandal, a betrayal, or a designer shoe conspiracy so twisted even Melania's closet is nervous? Whatever it is, it's big enough that even the walls at Mar-a-Lago are gossiping. And this meltdown, it's messier than Trump's hair in a wind tunnel.
because he smells like shit, who wants him around? We've demonstrated beyond any shadow of a doubt that we've had engineers weigh in. A man is incapable of wiping his ass. But let me tell you, this is
Oh no. If you ever needed proof that Trump Tower wasn't built to handle pressure, this is it. Because when James Carville spoke, he didn't throw shade. He lit a match. And nope, this isn't about another cringy Trump speech. This time, Carville went straight for Melania. And what he said could ruin everything. And of course, Donald lost it. Not just upset, not just angry. We're talking full toddler meltdown, arms flailing, voice raised, red in the face. Sad? Yes. Funny? Also yes, but mostly...
And so one of the things that we know for sure is Donald John Trump stinks. In other words, he smells like shit. There's any number of people who have reported this to us. And of course, everybody heard him fart in the courtroom. And we have extrapolated from that a belief that the reason he stinks so much is he farts and shits in his pants or whatever.
Let's break this down. Because what just happened might change everything. You already know the name. James Carville. The man who doesn't just stir the pot. He flips the whole table. But for anyone living under a rock, Carville isn't just some guy. He's the political fire starter who helped launch Bill Clinton into the White House. And ever since...
You can produce a world-class documentary for $2 million. I know it. You couldn't spend $40 million on a documentary if you tried 10 times harder to do it. So where's the money going? Well, we know where the money is going. And to Bezos, who's worth, I don't know, $400 billion or something, this is all chump change.
But here's where it gets wild. Carville's not just throwing shade. He's locked in. And he's aiming straight at the Trump dynasty. This wasn't a stray jab. This was a verbal sniper shot, and this time, he didn't miss. So let's set the scene. Trump, for all his tough guy talk, has one true weakness: the illusion.
Right there, they're paying $40 million. I don't know, somebody better look into this, but they could make a documentary on the history of the universe and couldn't spend $40 million. Is every time you think it's bad, it gets worse.
If you're enjoying this ride, strap in, because it's about to get nuclear. Let's be real. Spend 5 minutes watching Donald Trump and it becomes painfully obvious. His entire brand, just an expensive Instagram filter. Glossy on the outside, cracking underneath. But what happens when someone like James Carville steps in and starts ripping holes in that perfectly staged illusion? You don't just get pushback, you get detonation. Trump didn't just lose it, he went full-on volcanic. We're talking rage louder than his golf course meltdowns. A tantrum that could shatter windows at Mar-a-Lago. And all because of one savage line. What did Carville say that sent Trump spiraling into political outer space? Nothing subtle. In true Carville fashion, he claimed Melania's commitment to Trump was about as genuine as a stockbroker's love for a crashing market. Oof, that wasn't just shade. That was a total eclipse. Forget passive. Digs. Carville went for the jugular. He basically said Melania's role in the Trump narrative wasn't love. It was leverage. And honestly, can we even argue with that? Think about it. Melania has kept her lips sealed through scandal after scandal. She's ghosted more campaign events than she's shown up to. At this point, her absence is a meme. So when Carville dropped that bomb on live air, Trump felt the walls closing in. Not because it was some anonymous leak or whispered rumor. No, this was a public broadcast, a straight-up call-out. And the message? Melania'S loyalty might just be contractual, not emotional. And now the internet's asking if even the marriage is part of the branding. What else is fake?
I like to be unique. I like to be different. I think unique is very rare to find nowadays, and something you want to be inspiration for other people to think outside of the box. I don't like to repeat stuff. I don't like to to follow the people. I prefer to lead than to follow.
You're probably wondering, why would this drive Trump completely off the edge? He's taken heat from all directions: world leaders, late-night hosts, viral memes. But this wasn't just another jab. This hit somewhere much deeper. Because when it comes to Donald Trump, there's one rule everyone in his circle seems to know. You don't come for Melania, not unless you're ready for war. She's more than a wife. She's a symbol, a brand extension. The glamorous, reserved partner who never says too much and never steps out of line. She keeps the image clean, polished, untouchable, and when someone like James Carville, known for never pulling punches, goes for her, it's not just a diss, it's a direct attack on Trump's illusion. So how did Trump react? He didn't stay quiet. He didn't drop a clever comeback. He didn't handle it like the savvy businessman he pretends to be. No, he lost it. We're talking nuclear-level meltdown. People close to him said he was fuming, not just angry, but shaken, because Carville didn't just make a joke. He tore the curtain down. He hinted that Melania'S loyalty wasn't love, but a calculated move. And that idea?
My thoughts are this. I looked at it, and, they came after women. I said nothing, because I'm not a woman. They came after Puerto Ricans. I said nothing, because I'm not a Puerto Rican. They came after black people. I said nothing, because I'm not black. But then they came after watermelons. That's where James Carville comes out of his chair. Okay, next thing you know, they're going to come after gumbo, and they're going to take our gumbo away from us. It was so disgusting.
It's like he has this need to look flawless, even when the cracks are as obvious as the Grand Canyon. Imagine Trump pacing around Mar-a-Lago, muttering to himself about how unfair it is for Carville to drag his personal life out in the open like that. You know he's fuming, maybe even picking up the phone, dialing Melania in a panic. "Why aren't you defending me?" he probably snapped. "Get on Twitter, post something. Tell them how much you love me." But here's the kicker. This meltdown, it's all about image. Trump can't stand when his perfect world gets exposed. He can handle the critics, the media, but his family, that's sacred. Remember those moments when the media dared to ask about his relationship with Melania? The silence was deafening. The tension so thick you could cut it with a knife. Trump can't stand it when people peek behind the curtain, especially when it's about his marriage. Because for him, there's nothing more important than maintaining that image. The perfect family, the perfect life. Always happy, always poised, always ready for the next photo op.
And I think she's got this piece of barbed wire and is sticking it right up his fat fucking ass. Yeah, that's right. You think about this. Going in and out. And he's begging, "Oh, you have any idea of what I think about you?" And then, well, thank you. And I just want to give a trigger warning here. If you react sensitively.
The comment hit like a chainsaw cutting through the carefully crafted illusion Trump spent years building. And in that instant, he had no choice but to go full throttle into damage control mode. But why is this meltdown so compelling? Because it exposes everything we thought we knew about Trump. We've all seen him obsessed with appearances. We've all seen the contradictions that make him who he is. But watching him unravel over something so trivial, something so personal, hits different. It's like watching the world's most fragile ego crack under pressure. And frankly, it's almost too satisfying. Here's the twist. This isn't just about one man's temper tantrum. This is a man who has built entire campaigns around tearing other people's lives apart. Now suddenly, his own life is the punchline. The internet. exploded as fans and foes alike reveled in his meltdown. And Trump? He hates being exposed. It's like every word cuts deeper. But here's where things get even wilder. What about Melania? What does she think about all this chaos? If history tells us anything, she's probably lounging on a private beach, sipping champagne, as far away from this circus as possible. Silent as ever. Melania, the queen of silence, isn't getting involved. If she has anything to say about it, you can bet it's being whispered to her lawyer, maybe even during a quick scroll through Instagram. Honey, we really need to rethink this marriage thing, she might say. Her eyes glued to her phone, clearly not caring about Trump's latest tantrum. At this point, she's not even Melania Trump anymore. She's the ghost of Melania Trump. A barely there figure that nobody really understands, except for the fact that she probably owns a wardrobe full of expensive handbags.
Throughout my life, I have harnessed the power of love as a source of strength during challenging times. Love has inspired me to embrace forgiveness, nurture empathy, and exhibit bravery in the face of unforeseen obstacles. Today, we celebrate courage, a strength that is based in love.
Let's take a moment and really digest how absurd this whole situation is. Trump's ego, already on the edge, fragile as glass, gets slammed at every turn by things he can't control. Reality, logic, basic decency. But add Carville's well-aimed. Jabs into the mix, and you've got a full-on disaster waiting to unfold. Trump, who's been dishing out insults like they're candy, mocking anyone who crosses his path, can't take a single hit when it's aimed at something personal. And the irony? Oh, it's delicious. Carville didn't just throw a little shade. No, he went straight for the jugular. And trust me, it was beautiful to watch. But this wasn't some random political jab. Carville wasn't just being a comedian, he was playing a masterful game of destruction. He wasn't merely mocking Trump. He was dismantling everything Trump has worked so hard to build. And you know what? It worked. See, we all know Trump is obsessed with his image. His golden tower, his perfect marriage, his eternal business genius. But Carville hit where it hurts the most. He went straight for the one thing Trump can't afford to lose, his brand. And at the heart of that brand is Melania. She's the silent, glamorous figure by his side, always composed, always perfectly polished, even when chaos rages around her. To his supporters, Melania represents the ideal wife, loyal, unshakable, standing by him no matter what. The very embodiment of the Trump myth.
Very distressed about the pain that Donald Trump's going to have, because as I told you before, I can't stand him. I think he's human garbage of the worst order. And sometimes I think of...
When Carville swoops in and drops the bombshell that Melania's devotion might be more about business than love, it's not just a joke. No, this is psychological warfare in its purest form. Each time someone points out how utterly uninterested Melania looks in Trump's antics, it chips away at the shiny fairy tale that Trump has spent years building. And here's where it gets really juicy. Every time that illusion crumbles just a little more, it becomes harder and harder for Trump's diehard fans to pretend this is all one big, perfect picture. Fans had no idea how deep this actually runs. This isn't just some political jab. This is genius on a whole new level. Carville isn't just throwing shade. He's launching a full assault on the very core of Trump's carefully constructed mythos. He's tossing the smallest pebble into the largest glass house. And that house, it's made of everything Trump has built his empire on. Trump, the man who's been feeding us this image of perfection, the unstoppable force, the business genius, the family man, is now watching his own facade crack in real time. And it's not just about Melania anymore. It's about the cracks that are starting to form in the very foundation of his brand. This is the moment when people start questioning everything we thought we knew about Trump. Publicly mocking Melania isn't just about her. It's an attack on the very heart of everything Trump has sold us about himself. That loyal wife trope? It's been at the center of his brand for years. Melania, quiet, mysterious, seemingly untouchable, has always been presented as the rock that holds Trump together. But now, the world's starting to wonder, is she really just standing by him because it's a good business deal? That's a question Trump can't simply tweet away. No matter how many times he calls out his critics, No matter how much he tries to deflect, Carville's words are hitting where it hurts the most, and the most chilling part? Carville isn't just roasting Trump. He's exposing how hollow everything really is.
Barbed wire, and you had like a stretcher, and you'd pull it tight, and you'd have to hammer I don't know what they call it, like a U-nail. And this stuff is very, very, very difficult to deal with. Also, for you history buffs, this barbed wire probably had a lot more to do with taming the West than a Colt 45. The history of the West is very entwined with the history of barbed wire because people...
But the magic doesn't end there. Now, mocking Trump has evolved into a strategy of its own. It's no longer just about attacking his policies or his infamous tweets. Oh no, now it's about tearing apart the very idea of Trump, the larger-than-life persona that convinced the world he was a political genius. A man who somehow wove his way through real estate, reality TV, and bankruptcies, all while keeping that golden image intact. But here's the kicker. Mocking Trump's persona, his bravado, his so-called genius, the carefully crafted myth, is like hitting a glass cannon, strong on the outside but utterly fragile on the inside. And every hit, every poke, chips away at the structure he's built. You can call him orange, you can make fun of his crazy hair. But when you start attacking the core of who he is, that's when the illusion cracks wide open. Now picture this. Trump out on the golf course, phone gripped tight, tweeting furiously about Carville. We've all seen him, his bright orange face gleaming under the sun, acting like nothing's wrong, pretending the world hasn't just come crashing down. Meanwhile, Melania, who's probably sitting far away, sipping something cool and carefree, might be rolling her eyes so hard she could see the back of her head. Does she even care anymore? This could be the beginning of the end.
Melania'S work has yielded incredible results, helping prepare our nation's future leaders as they enter the workforce. Our First Lady is joined by two impressive young women, very impressive. Haley Ferguson, who benefited from the First Lady's Fostering the Future initiative and is poised to complete her education and become a teacher.
And just when you think things couldn't get any worse, Melania'S 2025 plans. You see, if you've been paying attention, you'd know Melania does not like staying in the public eye. But what if, just what if, she's secretly plotting a huge comeback? Imagine this, a Melania we've never seen before, unpredictable, in control, and ready to rewrite the narrative she's been quiet on for years. But here's the thing. No matter what Trump does to save face, the damage has already been done. The truth is out there, and people aren't buying the image of the perfect couple anymore. No matter how many tweets he fires off, no matter how many press releases are put out, it's clear. The cracks are wide open, and they can't be covered up anymore. And Carville, he's probably somewhere cracking up as Trump keeps spewing his angry tweets into the void. Watching this unfold is like watching someone swing at a piñata. Only the piñata is Trump's dignity, and it's getting smashed to pieces. The irony? It's hilarious to watch. But let's face it, Trump's screaming into the void won't fix this. He's already lost the image battle, and more tweets aren't going to save him. It's just another chapter in the tragic comedy that is the Trump saga. A harsh reminder that no matter how hard you try to control your image, eventually the cracks start showing. And when they do, it can all come crashing down in an instant. But what happens next? Will this be the moment everything unravels? For Trump, can he survive this? The clock is ticking.